All right, everybody, welcome to episode 20 of Big Game Talk. And, well, we're adults now. We've been coming at you for 20 episodes, and we're going to do it a little different this week. There's not a whole lot of really groundbreaking sports news that, what's been going on or hasn't already been brought to you by the big networks. So we're just going to have a conversation for 30 minutes. And you know what? It's our goddamn right, because we've been doing this 20 episodes
That's
now.
a hard sell, Brad. That's a very hard sell.
Yeah, it's real tough. But honestly, we've been barely doing this, but what a ride it's been considering we started the week after the Super Bowl. Life was normal. Big things were happening in sports. Episode 1, Super Bowl. Episode 2, John Jones defending Dominic Reyes. Next thing you know, John Jones is arrested. Coronavirus hits. Things go to hell in a handbag. And we have to go, probably 12 weeks without talking about just struggling to talk.
Yeah, we're
sports,
struggling. Huh? I mean, and the funny thing is, to put it in perspective, we were originally the original plan, the conceit. Like I called up Brad and I said, "Hey, you want to do an XFL podcast?" Like, it was originally supposed to be.
No, it was supposed to be a Seattle Dragons.
Yeah, a Seattle Dragons podcast. We were gonna call it the Dragons Den. Probably get sued by NBC because they own all that name stuff. But we were gonna have the Dragons Den, and we're gonna be just Seattle Dragons, and all the Seattle Dragons fans are just gonna be tuning into these two Canadian kids to listen to all the breaking news about the Seattle Dragons, and because the XFL was gonna be huge, and now the XFL is kaput. It's gone. It's over.
It's been 2 months since it was even a thing.
Yeah. So we survived. Like we survived the XFL, and nobody's ending us.
Yeah, it is wild to think this really was we started this because of the XFL to do the only reason we started with the Super Bowl was because we wanted to talk about the Super Bowl, and then we realized, hey, we're really into UFC too, and we're going to talk a lot about that. So let's just do all sports. But I mean, even think when was the last time you thought about the XFL?
Every day, because my Seattle Dragons hoodie that I bought the day it was pretty much I got that the day before or the day of or something like that the XFL was shut down. So I got my little piece of history, and I see it every day passing by my my coat rack or whatever. Say a little prayer to Vince McMahon, hoping that he's doing okay.
Then there's no way the XFL ever comes back. That's a kaput league. I think. I mean, at this point, it's if we were going to get that into XFL, we might as well get into the CFL. It's in our own backyard, essentially.
Yeah, and now the CFL, as we've talked about on the podcast, it might fold, man. I see people at work; they're wearing their customers come into the store wearing Toronto Argos stuff, and I feel so sad. I tell them, man, it's rough out there for the CFL, and then the CFL TSN is now putting out reruns of old games and stuff like that to replace, because I guess the season is pretty much started pretty soon.
I think yeah. The season would be fairly into it right now, I would think. It is good time there to take a drink at the same time, Chris.
Yeah.
But
this is championship radio, Brad. Championship radio here.
Yeah, but it's sports are slowly coming back. We're gonna start having topics come September when we're gonna have NBA playoffs, we're gonna have NHL playoffs, we're gonna have, God willing, baseball, we're gonna have football back, we're gonna have college football back. We're gonna be coming at you with 3-hour-long episodes.
It's going to be unreal. It's going to be unreal.
Right now, we're going to struggle to hit 30 minutes. We're going to soon enough.
We're putting in our time in the gym right now. That's what we're doing. We're practicing. This is a practice right now. But still listen. It's good championship radio, no doubt. But it's going to be even better when there's sports to talk about. I mean, there was
too, when we can actually get together for some of these instead of doing it through Zoom, where it cuts out and all of a sudden I start talking because you're not talking, then it cuts back in and I'm just talking over you and I don't know what's happening. It'll be a lot easier in person. I want one in person one, right?
Yeah,
Episode,
one in person, and I want a second pass of that, because we did that, I think, at 11:30 at night. Your parents were asleep, so we had to be quiet. We were going off the camera on the DSLR's microphone.
I had this stomach flu before. There was my Jordan flu game.
Yeah, I had this microphone sitting in between us, but I couldn't get Audacity to work, so it was just there as a prop. The audio was it was in the background.
We had producer Mitch in behind the camera. We had to cut a whole segment because he laughed over it.
And it was not a timely, like it wasn't, oh, Chris
It was
and
a
Brad are making a
serious
joke.
segment.
It was a serious, we were talking about the death of Roy Halladay, and this guy was laughing at memes that he was on his phone. We got to get a new producer, honestly, this guy.
Yeah, producer Mitch, you heard it here first. You're fired.
You're fired, yeah.
You probably haven't listened to an episode since that one, so you're fired.
Oh, man. What a guy. What a guy.
So, I mean, Chris, yeah, producer, that you're a co-host and producer.
Yes, I think I'm so excited for this position. I can't wait. I mean, Mitch has been editing all these podcasts. Now it's on me.
Yeah. But Mitch hasn't done damn thing except for hold the camera a few times.
Yeah, well,
but I mean too. But like in all seriousness here, like at 20 episodes when we started this, like I didn't know if we were going to get to 3. To be quite honest with you, and now we've interviewed like professional athletes.
Yeah, we have. And
so if anybody wants to shit on us, go ahead. Where's your UFC fighter interview?
Of course, for our Eric Anders one, we were doing it on Skype, and you go back and look at that if you want. It was on Skype. We were recording it, and Skype, it does this thing like it splits between the two things. But then when you have 3 people, you have one person kind of like this on the side, and then you have the
Great
two
radio.
in full.
Great radio right now.
Yeah, this is well, I'm assuming most people are listening on YouTube, or watching on YouTube. But anyways, you basically got the 1 and the 2 and the 3 basically. If you're listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly. And we wanted the big, basically there's one person that's big and 2 people that are tiny. That's what I'm trying to say. And we wanted Eric Anders to be the big person, which is not too much to ask. I mean, it's little old us and Eric Anders, and what, one of us is going to be like the biggest person on the screen? We can't do that. We can't. So I was trying to figure out how to set who gets put into what box. I was talking to this Skype lady. I was going.
And honestly, too, that's shout out to producer Mitch, because that was one of the only times he came on for about an hour and a half before that, and we were just like exiting in and out of interviews with him, trying to figure out how to get it.
Yeah. So I was up the chain of command, and Skype actually told me, like the lady told me, that's a great idea to being able to decide who gets put into what box when you're recording a Skype thing. And then she said, we'll have send an email to our developers and maybe they'll add it in. I was like, this is way too much work. We ended up going to Zoom. Zoom already has all that stuff built in. Zoom is fantastic. And I'm sorry, Eric Anders.
We had a Joe Rogan deal where we just said we're jumping ship. We're jumping ship anymore.
Zoom came to us and said, look, guys, we want you to be exclusive. We want you to be exclusive Zoom podcast. And they paid us $200 million. We're bigger than Joe Rogan. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have got Zoom because I just didn't hear anything you heard for the last.
And now Brad's frozen. Now the question is
just completely cut out.
Yeah, well, you cut out. Yeah. You cut out when you were talking about me cutting out. So I think.
Did you hear anything I just said for the last 30 seconds?
No.
What is going on with
Zoom? Come on.
Like we were just pumping its tires, and then all of a sudden it just cuts out for 30 seconds. What is going on? Are we cutting that, or is that just going to be horrible radio?
Well, the fact is, I'm on the recording side. I never froze. I was talking the whole time. People tune in for me anyways. I say we leave it in.
Hey, we're co-hosts here. We are co-hosts. People tune in either way. I don't see you with fancy memorabilia on the wall. I just see Noah's head in the background.
This bobblehead, fancy. This is a game-used Giants football right here. This basketball was game used. I don't. This is.
And you get the 6. What is it? The 6 hats supply or whatever thing. They were supposed to be a sponsor and they dropped out. Guy, like all you had to do was send us the promo code and the link.
Well, we got the promo code. You could still, if you think this is a cool hat, 6hats.com, promo code BGT. I think 25 gets you 25.
Oh, it was big game. Don't do it. We're not getting residuals. It's a good hat, though. It's a good hat, though. Good cause too. So low key, go support them. Just pay full price. Don't be a cheap ass.
Yeah, don't use our promo code. What are we?
Yeah, no, but if you're gonna use our promo code, go to phoenixfit.ca. So FNXfit.ca. .ca or .com, wherever you're from, and use promo code BGT15, link in the description, get all your supplements, your workout apparel, all that good stuff. That's where you're going to need to use the promo code.
Yeah, and you can get some CBD. All you crazy kids who love living the wildlife, you get your CBD, sleep well at night.
Or you get your protein if you want to get shredded during this quarantine.
Yeah, so everybody's working out these days at home.
Because it's ending soon.
Yeah.
So you better get your body back in shape.
You better get ready. The gym is we going out. I remember we used to go, one of the first things me and Brad used to do together was go to the gym. And we go in and out, and then a year later, we would just every day we'd look at each other, hey, like, you want to go to the gym? And I think there was one day where we said no, and that was where it all began. All the troubles began.
And also too, like when we first started going to the gym, we lived in residence together, so it was a little bit of a walk. The second year we lived together, we lived in a townhouse that literally out our front window, you could see inside of the gym, and it was about 50 feet away.
Yeah.
And we still were like, nah, man, it's too much effort.
Yeah, you stand up, look out the window, and you're making eye contact with somebody on a treadmill. That was how close we were to the gym. And it was that was the year that we lived there was the year that we fell out of grace from going to the gym. It's unbelievable. You can lead a horse to water, can't make them drink. But you get out to the gym and use our promo code phoenixfit.com, BGT15, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, BGT15.
And you get 15% off all your purchase there.
Or just get some apparel. Like they got super nice apparel, t-shirts, sweaters, this shaker bottle. Just get that. Just buy shit from there.
Yeah.
Just, support us.
Yeah, support the pod. Mm-hmm. If you like the pod, support it,
Yeah. Because you know what? Like they've been our sponsor for a little while, and y'all are dropping the ball on buying things because we can track it.
We're watching you. We know. We know we're running the numbers. We're looking at our view count, which is boop, 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 and then we're looking at the Phoenix Fit sales that are boop, 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 and we're saying something doesn't add up here. Something doesn't. So, something ain't adding up. And it's definitely not our ad reads because they're fire. They're absolutely fire.
Yeah, what's wrong with me reading a description straight off the website, people? Come on.
Like, come on. We're the best salesmen we know, okay? So
yeah, exactly.
Anyways, but baseball's in trouble, man. Baseball's in big trouble. You said last week, maybe the season doesn't happen, and I
said that longer ago than last week. I said that almost a month ago at this point. Then I said, you know what? I don't know if they're gonna play because they're so far apart. I mean, you got the MLB saying, how about like break it down to you on this. You're on the school ground, and somebody goes, I'll give you 6 apples. And they go, no deal. And they go, well, how about 3 times 2 apples? And they go, no. And they go, 2 times 3? So it's like, what are you doing, owners? Like, you're just offering the same thing over and over again. The MLB, BPA is being like, you think we're stupid? So, like, of course, there's so much of a disconnect, right? I can't see a season. And then you get Manfred coming out today saying that he can't guarantee that there's going to be a season. And you get him coming out saying that.
They're cutting their losses. And even because they made a statement, like they said, well, we were hoping that the players would negotiate in good faith with us. So they're posturing. They know that this is not going to happen. And now the battle is not about the season and what are the terms of the season. Now the battle is all about who gets the blame because there's no baseball this year. So that's where both of these sides, that's the way they're leaning. That's the way they're going. And it's going to be – that's where the war is now. And
I don't think baseball really will be able to fully recover from this because if in a time when people need this escape and the release in sports, if they can't come together over millions of dollars when everybody else is going to be struggling because of the pandemic, people aren't going to forgive them. And it's a sport that's already struggling and is being just overpassed by everybody else. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you have to figure it out.
And even, I mean, think about if you are, there's so many jobs, there's thousands of jobs that are peripheral to baseball. And I'm not just talking about the guy that sells hot dogs and who pulls off ticket stubs, because those guys, I mean, whether there was a season or not, those guys are out of a job this year. But I'm talking about the cameraman, the like the announcers, the production team behind all the broadcasts, like all these guys, what are they doing like for the next year? It's a real shame that the owners and the players couldn't figure things out for the sake of these guys who don't make nearly as much money, and they make the game possible for all the fans.
Yeah, exactly. It's both sides are being selfish. I think more so on the owners. I would tend to, in this situation, side with the players. But I mean, both sides, like, you got to give a little here. I think the owners in the league need to really step up, though.
Yeah.
Like they're just not. They're not doing enough to get it done.
The fact is, this is survival for the MLB, and nobody's acting like it's survival right now. You were talking about just MLB has had a rough go the last little bit. I mean,
and it's not getting better. The young fans, like the fact that we are super into the MLB and baseball is abnormal. The people like our age group is not into baseball. It's the older demo, and you can't rely on an older demo. You need the young people to get involved in it. Well, it goes back to, like, they're so set in their ways. Like the fact that the MLB is the only league that you can't, like me and you, we can't repost an MLB clip and say, hey, look at this. We'd be taken down, suspended. Where the NBA would be like, yes, just take our clips and show them to anybody and everybody that you possibly can, because they understand that doing that, even if they don't get the residuals off it, still helps their brand. And the MLB just wants to hold on to all their stuff and then not even put it out there and let people know.
And the irony of that too is when Rob Manfred I remember Rob Manfred first coming in, and I was excited because he was very much let's futurize the game. Let's get it into the eyes of the young fans. The young fan doesn't want to sit and watch a game for 3 hours, but the young fan wants to go on Instagram and see 7-minute clips of sick plays, and then maybe that gets them to want to actually watch a real game. That was his whole, that was a huge push for him to say, okay, we need to like clipize the game of baseball, like make everything into like Vine, like for people with their Vine brains.
TikTok. Jesus, you're 21 years old and you talk TikTok. Catch up with the time.
It's all the same. I mean, Vine. I've like all the marketing people now, they're saying for our demographic or whatever, you need 6 seconds. 6 seconds is like the max that anyone's going to pay attention to. If you have an ad, if you have like a show you want to do, like make a 6-second promo. And that's because that's what people have attention for. Vine, like, over time, it just got shorter and shorter, our attention span. And Vine just messed us up. We will never recover.
I'm not hearing the thing you're saying.
I'm just saying
I know I missed everything you said. Zoom shit out again.
Yeah, we are never gonna recover from Vine. Okay, because our attention span was like this, and then slowly it just got. It was like there's a pile of marbles or rocks. That is our attention span, and eventually once in a while somebody comes in.
I missed most of that because of Zoom. But all I heard was that Big Game Talk needs to start pumping out 6-second clips.
That's what I'm saying, because Vine rotted our brains. It's into only being able to focus for 6 seconds. If something is longer than 6 seconds, it's too long to commit. That's why our podcasts are doing pretty rough, because they're not 6 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, you're frozen, Brad. You're frozen bad. You got frozen. We're 20 minutes into this pretty much. We need another 10 to call this an actual podcast. And Brad's camera died as he was having Wi-Fi issues. Brad's the source of all the problems. And now I'm going to have to go in to Premiere Pro and look at this whole big podcast and have to scan through it in order to find the spot where he went out the window. I'm going to have to fix it all because I'm producer now. Mitch isn't doing anything for us anymore. It's just, man.
Well, that's why you make the big bucks, guy.
Yeah, that's why I make the big bucks. Yes, for sure. Yeah, okay. Just wait until we actually make money off this, and I'm going to be like, oh, well, I'm making the big bucks. And you're going to be singing a different tune, Brad.
Okay. You know what? If we start making money off this podcast, I don't give a shit. I'll be just happy.
Yeah.
We get a little studio set up. We'll record it. We'll be great. Imagine though, like 20 years from now, like we're on our own type of first take, just yelling at each other.
Yeah. You know, that's the crazy thing about the internet now, because normally we would have to go to like journalism school or something like that and have to pay our dues, work inside a television studio and be grinding it all out, like writing the writing the teleprompter out so that to make the host look good while we're in the shadows, and have to be getting coffee for people and going around and just being like very like servitude-ish and be like, oh, like, just anything you need, I'll do it for you, Mr. Producer, and maybe if, like situation, and then eventually we pay our dues long enough. No, keep it in, keep it in, and eventually, what, Brad? Come on, let's fly a little close to the sun.
And we're back again. Chris got a little bit off the rails and, said some shit we just had to cut.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We might have future employers look at this.
That's true. That is true. That's the thing that we've danced around a while, just thinking about, well, okay, what can we say? What can't we say? We got future employer. I mean, that's the thing. We may look like we're professional broadcasters, but we're really not. We're just average working guys that can't afford to lose their jobs, we need to be. And Brad's, I mean, he's an accountant. Those guys are real nerds. They are, they get real sensitive about stuff. So they start going around, poking around our Instagram, start to see stuff like the joke I made earlier that we had to bleep out. And Mr. Brad doesn't have his accounting job anymore. So we got to be real careful.
Yeah. So
now
we got relax a little, Chris.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes. Let's just take it out easy. Let's just ride. So
we got some stuff written down here for some actual sports news. You want to just rapid fire kick through some here?
Yeah, let's do it.
NFL onside kick rule change. Explain it. Do you like it or not?
All right. So there's no more onside kicks because the onside kick just hasn't been working these days with all the rule change, which so they're changing it around. They're saying no onside kick, and 2 times a game you get a chance to play from what is it, the 20-yard line?
I think so, yeah.
20-yard line. You get a 4th down, 4th and 15, and you have to convert that, and you get to restart your basically your possession. So kind of interesting. The really strange thing to me is that you get this option 2 times a game. And I think that's too high a number. I think it should be 1.
I think you should be able to do as much as you want.
You should be able to do it as much as you want. I mean, you get
it's a 4th and 15.
But
if you stop the 4th and 15, you get the ball at their 25-yard line.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That changes everything then. Okay, I was thinking that you get to kick after that.
No.
Oh, okay. So then there's actually a penalty to doing this. That's okay.
You should be able to do as much as you want, because if you can't stop a 4th and 15.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That makes a lot more sense, because I was thinking you get a kick right after, and then for 2 plays you just get a free chance at.
No.
So you're using it in the first quarter. You're just saying like, hey, let's just really run these guys over, and you're using one of yours.
No. Like it'd be similar to like an actual onside kick. Like if they pick it up, they're so much further up the field. So yeah,
that's that. Okay, that makes sense. That's not bad then, because then I don't think teams use it on average 2 times a game.
No, I mean, how often do you see an onside kick? Maybe once a week for all the games.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's fair, because I was under the impression that you get a kick afterwards. And then if that was the case, then it would just be banana line, that'd be too nuts. Broken. Yeah, it'd be so broken. So in my head, I was thinking NFL was going crazy town, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's some XFL shit right there.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like this is just, is this an XFL rule that never happened? And then the NFL said, bet, I'll do it.
I mean, and 2, how long now the XFL's done? How long till XFL rules start moving over to NFL?
I think It's hard. It's hard because, I mean, the NFL is such an institution to go around and because everything comes off more gimmicky if it's the NFL doing it than the XFL doing it because you already expect some gimmicks with Vince McMahon. He's a man of gimmicks, you know.
Yeah.
So you expect that from him. So it seems par for the course when you see XFL like going for a 3-point conversion. You know, after a touchdown, you know, it seems just par for the course because Vince McMahon. When it's the NFL doing it, it's very different. And it's just, it would feel a lot more gimmicky. It'd feel a lot more like just tacked on. Honestly.
But at the kickoff, watching kickoff during the XFL.
Oh,
I felt like I was watching the future of football.
Yeah, because it's such a dangerous play. It's such as it is. You have, I mean, there's 10 guys and a kicker just running across a field, picking up speed that whole time. And just getting ready to kill people. You'd have guys just kamikazing into people, going off. You know, it's a dangerous play. It's a very dangerous play. It's fast paced. It's a lot of bodies being thrown around. And the XFL really fixed it without dumbing it down. That was, I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head to say that's the future of football.
I think so. And I think the NFL would be short-sighted to kind of be like, oh, we're not going to copy the XFL and not bring it over. I think that's one where no-brainer, bring it over.
Now, but what about the conversion rule? I know, like I just said, it was gimmicky, but do you think that it makes for better football, just straight up?
No.
No?
No. And this might be, like, part of that's going to be a gambler in me because it fucks with the scores so much. Like, they go all over the place. Over-unders get all over the place. And like the amount of like if your team's trying to come back and you're down 14 points, you're like, that's 2 touchdowns. Like it's so rigid and it's like normal scores. Where now it's like, well, now you got to get the 2 touchdowns, but you also got to get the points. And then like, do you go for 2 1s, make sure you get them both, or do you go for 2 2s and hope to just get like? There's so much extra, and I get like it's more strategy. Like but it's I don't know. It's kind of like comparing the AL to the NL, where it's like, you know what, like. I'm here to just watch the product. I don't need all the extra bullshit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Because I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
If the XFL, I liked it. If the XFL liked it, I wouldn't like it in the NFL.
Yeah, I think the NFL, and I mean, there's kickers who it's their bread and butter. What are you going to do? Take that away from them? You know, so. But there's been a lot of crazy rule changes lately, just across sports. Or at least, I mean, in baseball has changed a ton lately. And NFL now changing the onside kick rule, and then the XFL with all the rules. Like, it's kind of an interesting dynamic time for sports. We're going to see a lot of things change, especially with this coronavirus stuff. I mean, there's going to be there's pre-coronavirus for everything. Pre-coronavirus, post-coronavirus, everything's changing. I mean, these seasons that the different leagues are trying to scrap together are proof of that. And
no, 100%. But like my thing is too is if right now. Like coronavirus was done theoretically. Would you feel uncomfortable going to a live sporting event?
No.
Yeah, neither would I.
I mean,
there's a lot of people that would.
The thing is, the reality for me right now is I go to work almost every day at a grocery store, and I stand outside and hand out masks and stuff like that, and I'm within 2 feet of hundreds of people a day. You know, I'm really not at this point. I'm so desensitized to the whole like everybody must be 6 feet away and like we must social distance. Like I get all that, but I'm so desensitized to it. I see so many people in a day. I'm pretty close to so many people in a day. I'm touching products that other, you know, it's just it's the reality of running a grocery store, right? It's you got to touch things.
You're running the grocery store now?
Or no, I'm saying, you know, of being a part of the grocery store reality, right? So, or I'm just saying on the side of the business. I'm speaking. Yeah. No, you know what I'm saying.
I completely agree.
And so if a sporting event rule. No.
Go ahead, Chris.
If a sporting event rolled around, I would not be concerned. Anyways, you were saying.
No, all I'm saying is like we're gonna get to a point. This thing ends for 3 weeks, and everybody's just gonna go back to normal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like because it's gonna be you're gonna flow back into normal, especially if it happens in the middle of the summer. Because it'll just be so natural.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be so. It's when that veil gets lifted, it's gonna be so nice.
And I just can't wait to just like golf courses are open, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's difficult for us to be able to commit to because we're so far away. But when we can commit to like hang out for a weekend and just rip up the links, play like 36 holes in a weekend, it's gonna be so nice.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you went out and got a haircut. The viewers could see Brad's looking fresh right now. I'm still rocking the coronavirus cut because they opened up. Ontario went into phase 2, but
Chris, you haven't got your haircut since January. You can't say your coronavirus cut.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I've been wanting to get a haircut recently because it's getting long, and I'm like, okay, phase 2 started last Friday. I can go get a haircut. Sick. Then I find out that phase 2 is across Ontario happening, which opens up barbershops and a bunch of other things, except for in the GTA. So I'm in the GTA, and we're still in. It feels like being in the dark ages, the dinosaur times. That's what it feels like because we're still stuck in phase 1, because I'm on the outskirts of the GTA, like a town over. They're in phase 2. They're going all over.
And the thing is too, like my thing when they open up, I was like, what is stopping you from just driving 30 minutes and going somewhere where you get your haircut?
I'm angry, Brad. Okay, I'm angry.
No. I'm not chirping you. No, I'm saying like, what's the point of having the GTA closed?
Yeah,
and including you when you can just drive 30 minutes the other way.
Yeah, no, and then you're hypothetically spreading it further or whatever. I don't know. Like it's just we're figuring this thing out as we go along. It's and it's so annoying when you're just Milton's a pretty fast growing town, but at the same time, it's a small town in the big ocean that's the GTA, and we're on the outskirts, and we got to follow their rules. It's just
it's a little bit of a piss off for sure.
Yeah, it's a piss off. But anyways, but boxing is talking about being the first folks to have sport or fans in attendance.
Yeah, it was the Lomachenko versus, I want to say, Lopez fight, which is a hell of a fight. Lomachenko, he's one of those guys where if I'm not as very much familiar with him as I'm a very casual boxing fan. I'd say you are too, Chris.
Yeah.
Probably even more casual than me with that.
No, I'm way more casual than you.
Lomachenko is in a lot of people's opinions one of the pound for best right now. Pound for pound best right now. And he's somebody you watch him, and he's a smaller guy, so he's not going to get the attention, but he's an absolute stud. And so he's going to sell, like, for boxing fans, they'd sell it out. And I believe it was Cowboy Stadium. The guy was talking about filling it with like 10K people, and so you could spread them out. So, I mean, Cowboy Stadium, how many is that hold? Probably 70K. So it's spreading them out with 10K. Now, I think this is like, I think that's a horrible idea. Because I mean, you're still those 10K. You're still in closed space. If there's a line of seats and you got to get to, you're gonna have somebody at 4, 8, 12. To get to 8, you got to pass 4, and you're gonna touch every seat along the way. So you're still spreading it. You know what I mean? You might as well just fill it. You're really just saying like the odds of like one person in 70K having it versus one in 10K is less.
But then that's the bet you're making. That's what it is. It's less about 6 feet apart in the seats. It's more about just numbers game.
But I mean, to be able to stay, like, it's a good step, but I just don't think it would be. I don't think it's smart. I think it's better to just wait. But it's good to see that boxing's coming back and they're going to start moving, because boxing's one of those sports too. It's a lot like baseball where young people aren't into it. It's an old person's thing, and they are not keeping up with the times. Yeah. And MMA is, I would say, not in pay wise, because the top boxers still make more than the top MMA fighters, but boxing or MMA has surpassed boxing in popularity by far.
And relevance, social media presence. 100%. More people are talking about it when UFC's holding a card, for sure.
I think boxing is like, I could become very into boxing, but I find it so difficult because you turn on a card and it's like, we got on here Fury and Joshua, Anthony Joshua, and Tyson Fury. They signed a 2-fight deal for 2021. And Tyson Fury's got to fight Deontay Wilder first. I watched the last fight, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. I loved it. I didn't love the fact that I had to wait an hour and a half in between fights.
No,
I didn't love the fact
it was
that
awful.
I didn't like the fact that it takes them half hour to get in the ring. Like, it's ridiculous. The MMA, and especially the UFC, where it's so just cut and dried, where it's like, get in the ring, start the fight, get out of the ring, get the next one in.
Yeah, there's so much content in a night of UFC. There's so much. Bang for your buck. I mean, we've gone to 2 events. Bang for your buck, best value in all of sports.
Yeah.
Best value in terms of what you get.
And it's one of the best live to watch too.
Yeah, it's such a great, exciting thing. And boxing, on the other hand, when they're fighting, it's good, but in between the fights, they take so long, and they're like all these videos, all these interviews, all these clowns that you don't know who they are, and they're just rapping about this fight, and you just want to see the fight. It's we've already bought the pay-per-view, we've already paid for it. You don't have to spend an hour and a half selling us on why this is going to be a good fight. It's so frustrating to see.
I would love to go to see a boxing event live, but if I had the choice, 100%, I'd take UFC over it.
I 100%.
Or even like a Bellator, like an MMA. Like Bellator, that's when Bellator's got to come to Canada.
Because we're 100% going.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's gonna be crazy though. If boxing is the first one to come back with fans, I mean that's gonna be historic. That's gonna be huge. It's gonna be heard around the world. Everyone's gonna be focusing on that because that's big. That's history right there. And I mean, I can't wait to get back inside any stadium and watch any sports. It's been so long.
And I mean, when we do that, me and you together, I think we'll probably be there together for sure. And everybody on Instagram at Big Game Talk, you'll see.
Yeah, you'll see us there. You'll see us there bringing it in.
We'll keep you updated. We like the first game, we 100%. We do a little live stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last time we were at a Jays game, or was it last time? I can't remember, but we met Ross Atkins, GM of the Blue Jays. Now we can just pull up Instagram Live, quick Big Game Talk interview.
How sick would that be to actually be able to do that? We should honestly, though, we should do a little throwback at some point and throw that on the Big Game Talk Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. And throw back to the time we met Ross Atkins. That'd be nice.
That was honestly a pretty cool moment. I think you were wearing your Mets jersey.
Yeah. And I asked him to call up Sandy. Like, he was like, hey, can you, if you're next time you're talking to Sandy, tell him I say hi.
And he thought you actually knew him.
Yeah. But I just act like I know. I'm big timing. I'm big timing him. But man, I can't wait to get back in. And two, it's like this like ballpark or any sports event beer, the best beer. It's the best beer you'll have. It's so good.
There's something about spending $15 on a beer.
It just makes it so much better.
Makes it taste good.
So good, man.
And I think this has been this podcast has been completely different than anyone we've done. And I mean, it's been a tale of two halves because one, we were coming out screaming after the second one. You know what? We live with other people in the house, so we can't be screaming for the whole time.
We got the finger,
Yeah. We got to shut the fuck up. so it's been a tale of two podcasts. So, like again, we're 20. Wait, before I get into this, are we into the wrap up already, Chris?
I think we're in the wrap up. I think I got nothing else to say.
So this is our 20th episode. We're growing with it. Half of these episodes have been without sports. So stick with us. We're going to get to sports. We're going to be able to give our opinions on sports, and we're going to be as uneducated as ever, but we're going to give you our opinion, what we think is the average viewer, and we're going to hope that you're going to disagree and want to fight us, and good, you're still clicking. You're going to completely agree with us, show your friends, good, you're still clicking. Just watch it and just interact. That's all we ask. And just grow with us.
Because if Corona can't defeat us, nothing can. We're coming for you, Sports Center. We're coming. Just wait till sports back, Sports Center.
Yeah. And like always, we're on YouTube. Big Game Talk, if you're watching there. If you're listening to the podcast, find us there. If you're watching on YouTube, you find the podcast, Big Game Talk, wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Big Game Talk, Twitter at Big Game Talk if Chris ever decides to tweet again. We're on What else are we? Email us.
biggametalk@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
And yeah, check out our sponsor, Phoenix Fit. We joke around, but honestly, they do good work for everything that you buy. They give gallons of water to people in need, and they got good products. If you have any questions about them, hit us up. We'll be happy to tell you anything about them. And I mean, we're coming at you weekly still. We've took 1 week off of the last 20, and we had a week where we had 2 come out. So really, we're coming at you at an average of 1 a week. Mm-hmm. We are not going away anytime soon.
But except for right now, we're going away. See you next week on Big Game Talk.